Kia ora everyone, my name's Zach, I love rugby. Welcome back to Hakatime Rugby. Guys, it's been a little while since we've caught up. And in that time, the world has changed significantly. There's not a lot of rugby on right now, and unfortunately I haven't had a lot to get excited about in regards to rugby, but finally I've heard some news that has made me extremely excited about rugby again, and that news is Warren Gatland has come out and said that he's spoken to the CEO of New Zealand Rugby Union, and he has proposed a series decider as a pre-tour game on the Lions Tour of South Africa 2021. So we could potentially have 3 test matches against the Lions in 2021 in the Springboks, and 1 match against the All Blacks. That is huge news, guys, and what a way to kick off a Lions tour that would be. I'm going to give you all my thoughts right now, guys. But before we do that, let's hear from Warren Gatland, hear what he has to say on the matter.
Spoken to Mark Robinson. We're looking at the warm-up game with the Lions, and he was potentially talking about New Zealand Māoris, as potentially as a game to as a warm-up game. But is it something that the All Blacks go up there and we could do a bit of a decider before we go off to South Africa and end of June, next year. Potentially an opportunity to make sort of £4 or £5 million from a game like that to put some money back into the coffers that we're going to need. So I think there's potentially some opportunities for the world to come together in terms of how do we get up and running again and generate as much potential revenue as we possibly can, so that we don't damage what we've got. And
okay, before I give you my thoughts, guys, do me a favor and hit the like button. It really helps out with the YouTube algorithm, helps us to reach more people on this platform. Now, let me tell you what I think. Firstly, Warren Gatland mentioned the word, let's make this a decider as part of the tour. And the reason he said that is because in 2017, the Lions toured New Zealand and came away with a drawn series, which for the Lions was a great result there in New Zealand. Very, very difficult to tour New Zealand and to get a series win, but they did exactly that. If you recall, the first match was a win from the All Blacks. The second match was a win by the Lions, and unfortunately Sonny Bill Williams was only the 3rd All Black to ever be red-carded and sent off. And that's one game in particular I remember vividly, because I just thought he might have thrown that game away, and sure enough, that was proven to be correct. And then the final game in the series was a draw. So the Lions were able to battle back from going down the first game to getting a little bit lucky in the second game and coming back and winning that game, and then ultimately finishing the series with a draw. So that was a great result. But I agree with Warren Gatland. We need a decider. They do say that having a draw is like kissing your sister. It's not exciting at all. It's not a result. And we want to see results. So I love this proposal because it gives us that outcome. The second thing I love about this is it really sets up the tour in a huge way. And, given what we're going through in 2020, no rugby, obviously people are isolated, people need something to look forward to. A match like this, it really gets me excited, and I'm sure it gets a lot of other people excited. But it's very rare that and I don't know, maybe some subscribers will know this, I don't think I've ever seen the Lions play in Great Britain. So that would be a huge thing for local fans, the ability to get in behind the team. The proposal is that it happens somewhere in Great Britain, which would obviously be either in Cardiff or at Twickenham, most likely Twickenham, I would say. But what an event for people to get in behind. I'm sure local fans would really love to see the Lions in that pre-match game against the All Blacks. That would just be fantastic. The other major thing that I love about this, the tour itself is already absolutely stacked. There's a number of provincial games there in South Africa, and then playing against the world champions in South Africa, that in itself is worth the price of admission, but this just adds that little bit of additional spice that I think we're all going to really enjoy. And the final thing that I'll say on this matter, Warren Gatland, he came out and if you hear his words, he is speaking about financial incentives to really boost and lift the game. And I think that is so important right now and very, very wise from Gatland. At the moment, there are a number of unions, number of international teams that are under real threat. This COVID-19 epidemic has highlighted just how fragile the game is and just how fragile a number of the unions are financially. So this really helps to boost those unions. And You know, Warren Gatland is thinking out of the box, but I think also he is thinking with a global game in mind, and that's what I absolutely love about this proposal. I think the time of Northern Hemisphere versus Southern Hemisphere rivalry, it needs to be put to bed a little bit, and I think the greater good needs to be considered. And this is one proposal that definitely helps with that. He also made a proposal around having a mini tournament there in Europe at the end of this year, if restrictions are lifted, and if teams and players can travel, and if we can actually see some international rugby. Then the proposal around a little mini tournament there in Europe, again, is a great idea. You get a number of teams together, you have a revenue sharing option, and the fans get to benefit from it. So I think in particular, that's the point about this proposal that I really, really like. He's obviously doing it with a view of lifting the global game, and right now, that's what we all need. Before I close out, guys, now I have started a Lions series, so I'm going to now have to expand upon that and include this match in it, which means we are going to select a Lions team as an outcome of the 2026 Nations. That's coming very soon, so make sure you subscribe so you can see more of that. I'm also going to start working through what do the Lions have to do to beat the All Blacks. And you know I like to get down to a detailed level of strategy, so I'm going to add that to the mix. I've already done a similar video on how to beat the Springboks. Make sure you check that out as part of the Lions series that I've created. I'm going to do exactly the same for the All Blacks. And then I might even take the other side of the coin, select an All Blacks team based on 2020 form, and work out between the team I've selected on the Lions and the team I've selected for the All Blacks, who is going to win that match. So there's plenty more coming from me, guys. Make sure you stay tuned. Check it out. Let me hear from you down below in the comment section as well. What do you think of this proposal? Do you think it's a good idea? Should we be sticking to traditional tours and not really adding too much more to the mix? Or do you agree with me that for the good of the global game, this is something fans can get excited about and something we should all be pushing towards? I want to hear from you. Subscribe to the channel, guys. I cover all things rugby, and I'll see you back here very, very soon.